Here we go. So, what's going on? It's another one. It's another episode from Opinions from Offside for you. And I'm going to let you take the lead today because you've got a subject you want to talk about, haven't you? So let's have it.
Man. So basically, on the drive to work, listening to TalkSport, obviously after listening to our podcast to see where we're going, right? Obviously. I've done that, and what we're looking at is, all I could hear is people slating Ange Postecoglou, and then it was sort of 50-50 saying, oh no, Daniel Levy's to blame, Ange's to blame. I'm more looking towards surely it's got to be the players for the performance, especially they keep highlighting when Liverpool spanked them, and then they're giving Spurs more shit because Plymouth beat Liverpool. Like, how does that even work? How are you giving them shit? So my question is to you, Lever, as a manager and a player, how does the boardroom affect those situations? I mean, we've all seen anxious Ange. I mean,
let me get out of shot. To be fair to you, mate. Go on, put it back up. To be fair to you, mate, what these players have done is extraordinary. Playing Thursday, Sunday. And I could say that for like 3.5 months, mate. At the end of the day, you've got 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds out of the youth team, as well as veterans, and they're trying to play beside them. But we've realised now that we just fucking shit and that we get battered everywhere we go. Special guest.
All you needed at the end there was God bloody Strofe.
I'm going to naff off and put another shrimp on the bar. I'll tell you what I think is, first of all, that Ange's fault for going to a shit team. I think that's the first thing. Second of all, look, we've touched, as we do with many of our subjects we talk about, we tend to flit all over the place when we're getting involved in conversations. And I think you're probably in agreement with me that if it's rotten from the top down in any business, that's a problem. Now, I will agree with the players and stuff can't blame the board, because I know in a little while, without giving away what you're going to say, you're going to talk about in real life jobs and stuff and people's staff's responsibilities. But as always, as a point of reference, my team, like this transfer window we had in the summer, everybody but me said we'd won the transfer window and it was so amazing. And you came on as a guest on the Hammers Chat podcast, Patreon podcast with me, Sat and Gatesy. And I said at the time, I didn't think it was all that. Some of the players are all right, but they're not in keeping with Lopetegui's style. That's not how he plays. So, and then when you look at it, we signed mainly 9 first-team players. It's now come to light that the chairman, David Sullivan, was probably responsible for 3 of those players. And what's he doing? Because he had a director of football in Tim Stighton that he brought in to sign as player. Tim Stighton signed 3 of them. Let me give you his 3, plus the one he'd already done. So 4. Mavropanos, absolute calamity. Guilherme, 35 million, has played about 7 minutes. Yeah, now we're talking about selling him at a loss to Botafogo. Fulkrug, who's played less time than Guilherme because he's been injured and has done nothing. And Tadibo, which you straight away called you didn't like the look of. And he's been very underwhelming and always injured as well. So Tim Stighton's gone. And we won't go too much into West Ham, but I did say that you haven't got the infrastructure of someone like Brighton or Brentford or whatever, right? So it's never going to work. So it never did work because Sullivan relinquished full control and get his grubby little mitts off it. And Stighton was learning on the job because he was never the brains behind Leverkusen. Simon Rolfes was, and he was learning on the job. He wasn't qualified to do it. But the problem is, if you've got a shit infrastructure from the top to the bottom, one bad apple spoils the lot. So to move away from West Ham, another example would be when we spoke with George about Amarim coming in. I said I feared that you could get Prime Pep, because that's not a good example anymore, or Alf Ramsey, or Nigel Clough, Brian Clough, and Brian Clough.
Nigel Clough?
And, I know, so I said,
Burton legend.
Getting from Burton. You could have Brian Clough, you could have Alex Ferguson. If at the top it's all wrong, you're on a hide into nothing. And I think we've seen that now at United, that we seem to talk about a lot. I think seeing that at West Ham, and I think a lot of Spurs fans will tell you the problem's Daniel Levy. So I don't think it should be held up as an excuse from the players necessarily. But you know what it's like yourself, mate. To put it into our world, I won't name venues, but I've worked with Devil's Avocado. I've worked with you in a few places out here, right? And some places we've worked in have been a good vibe, good team, good people to work with. Others, people just want to go to war with you over every little thing. It makes your life a misery being there. So as a result, if you think of us as staff, as players, and then the people at the top, like the chairman, like if they don't know what they're doing, they don't know how to ask from their elbow, you're more experienced in running a bar. I mean, one particular place, you tried to suggest that this is the most efficient way to set out a bar, and that was ignored. So you know yourself, but if your hands are being tied as a player, that trickles down from the top. Your hands are tied as a manager, that comes trickling down from the top. So I would suggest that if the setup is wrong and the chairman is wrong, I think you're at a disadvantage before you've even begun. I don't know what you think.
I'd agree. I would actually agree. However, to be the devil's avocado, if my job is on the football pitch, what does it matter what's happening above me?
Well, it doesn't in terms of kicking an inflated bag of air around, but we've also spoke about being in an environment. So again, apologies to listeners or viewers if I keep bringing it back to West Ham, but obviously it's my team and it's the one I follow most closely. However, the difference in morale and atmosphere around West Ham since Potter's come in compared to Lopetegui, like even like the tea lady and the ground staff and the kit man are reporting that it's just such a better place to be. You're hearing all sorts of whispers from all different areas that there's a real buzz around the place now. And as a player, you don't want to be going somewhere where there's infighting, unsettled dressing room. You know what I mean? And if it is poisonous from the top, toxic, you know, they call Sullivan the poison dwarf. And it's because he's like, he is poisonous. Do you know what I mean? So I can understand it. And that's when we spoke about how much the training grounds matter. I would imagine it's not the pitch where 90% of your work takes place, is it? It is in and around the club, around the training ground. And if you're on a training pitch, you're in the dressing room, you're doing warm downs, you're in the treatment room, you're in the gym, and the whole atmosphere is vile, that's probably going to affect your mind. And if it's going to affect your mind, it's probably going to affect how you perform. Right?
See, but I look at that differently. So anytime I have seen, so to give you an example, as a good manager that I've seen work before, all their job is to do, I'll give you an example, working in the bank, their job is to make sure the staff are happy. So they shield, they're basically the umbrella to stop the shit from above, right? Surely that's what Ange needs to be doing. He shouldn't really be putting it on the, like, shirking the responsibility. So for me, if Ange been brought in by Lever, he's giving you money to spend, he's tried to buy players, to me, ridiculously the way he's gone to buy them. Why would you put this in public domain when you can have the agreement in place before you put a bid in? Ridiculous. I don't understand that. Very similar to what Sullivan did with Duran. Ridiculous. Correct. What you play that. That's just, to me, that's just a show move.
And interesting. I could back up what you're saying. That was just for show. Because it was, have you got 57 million then to go and buy someone else? No, we've got no money in this window. We need to sell first. And you never had 57 million. You never had it.
So it was just, you knew that Villa weren't going to take 57 million for a 21-year-old Duran who is only going to get better. So why the hell would they take 57 million when Arsenal were looking at 60 for the 29-year-old Ollie Watkins? That's just ridiculous. Yeah. You just a joke. So, but then I look at it as, on the flip side of it, to be a devil's avocado, surely sometimes when I go for work, if I'm having this shit going on in your life, you leave your life at the door and you can be afresh. So as a footballer, surely as a professional don't forget, you're only at the club for what? 4 hours a day, 5 hours, including video analysis. You surely can leave that at the door and just go, right, the group of lads we're with, I'm staying with it. I've worked in places before where I've hated the work I've been, but the staff have been brilliant. I think, you know what? I look forward to coming to work with these people, that person. Surely as a footballer, you're around them people all the time. You should be the same. You're quite close with each other, especially ones that work, like the defenders that work together, your midfielders that work together. and then your manager, your assistant manager, your coaches, you're all a big group. And I think that's one of the things that Fergie used to do really well. And just to be a devil's avocado in general, Fergie won the league under Glazer. So, and Man U fans will say Glazer's the worst owners ever, but he's put money into the club. They've put money into the wrong areas. I mean, I don't know if you've seen. Did you see that Anthony's played 2 games for Real Betis and got 2 man of the matches?
Yeah.
He don't look a bad player. So I think the situation, I think a club can be toxic, which brings out the worst in the players. Hence, look at how it's going at United at the minute with Rashford, Sancho. I mean, what Sancho put it today. Oh, go on, Sancho. I love that. I love footballers being more honest when it comes to
Sancho seems to be doing all right, and Rashford seems to have started all right at Villa, just being away from that dark cloud. So, in response to what you're saying, I agree, but it depends on the individual's personality. So, even taking you and me, right, I would take it to heart, and it would annoy me all the way home. You'd finish, and you'd put it out your mind. You know what I mean? You'd have a more positive outlook about it. I'm easy to get stressed. You know, I get stressed easily with things, and it winds me up. I replay it in my head. So it depends on the personality of the person. But see how you're saying about you need someone who's an umbrella to that, to shelter people from the shit. This is another thing in organisation, because, again, at West Ham, someone like Mark Noble would have played that role if he's allowed to. But then what happens is people come in, and then like Noble sort of, he was not shunted, but he was made focus more on the academy, which I think is a good thing. And then there was Stuyton, and Stuyton's brother came in, you know, and but that's what it is. It's nepotism. It's because it's your brother, David Moyes, his son working for the club, and did deals with his brother, Kenny Moyes. And that was Jordan Hugill, by the way, was his agent from Preston.
He turned out well.
Really overpaid. When we had the last director of football, when we had Huselos, he brought his son in as well. You know, we had it with Pellegrini. Pellegrini brought his son in as well. And he brought a scouting network in with Huselos. And when they left, there was no digital files or dossiers of the players which spent years and millions scouting. Literally, it was paper folders, and they left with Huselos.
Right, so this seems mad to me. So I understand that football is quite a close community, and they try and look after their own. How the fuck do you get away with that? So imagine me saying, right, I'm coming for this job. I want to come and manage this bar, right? This bar's for sale. I'll only come and work there, but you need to pay for my brother to come over there, and he's going to have a job doing this. My mum's going to come over and do this. My cousin's going to come over and do this. You get laughed out. As an owner, surely you must go, right, is this your scouting network? You must be able to research this player, right? I'll tell you what you can do. If you can't be able to research, other people have done it. Get yourself on 40 Manager, find his stats as a scout, and see if he's any good as a scout stat. Put one after it. You know what? Get fucked. See you later.
Do you know what? It's a lot of dodgy dealings with agents. So clubs do have their preferred agents to use. At West Ham, it's Will Salthouse and Barry Silkman. That's what Sullivan, who he prefers to use. Now, some people may say you build up relationships with agents because they sort of give you first refusal on players, or they do you a good deal, or they take a little less percentage. The cynic would say, and I'm not making any accusations, that if you use those people for those deals, everybody gets a brown envelope and you sort of keep it in the circle, right? Yeah. The same is happening. And I'll tell you, X would be a brilliant guest, because X from the West Ham Way and Dave, we keep talking about getting them on. He only an ITK and in the know that has the inside information. He's actually gone and qualified as an agent. He's actually an official player agent now. So he's got several players on his books. Yeah, not everyone's high profile. A lot of them are kids or in the lower league. So he's just like, you know, got a couple of players for Julian Dix. Julian Dix is one of his clients as a manager, and he's just got him a management job. I want to say like Abridge Basin or something. And he's there, and he could talk to the way things are done as an agent. Right, and what goes on. So that'll be a really interesting podcast that I'll try and arrange. But the other thing with using agents is Harry Kane's agent only has one client, Harry Kane. Do you know why? Because Harry Kane's agent is his brother.
Oh, I
who's
thought it was his
not an
tag team
agent.
partner.
Tag team partner, yeah,
Sorry,
in the
yeah, sorry.
Mustachios. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thought that was
so
the Steiner
he's
brothers.
not, yeah, he's not really an agent. He is, because he would have had to have gone and passed an exam once, or once a year, or once every couple of years for that qualification. But it's basically a way of, when he negotiates that move to Bayern Munich, yeah, his brother negotiates enough money to set him for life out of it.
Yeah.
Right? The same with a player that moved from West Ham to Arsenal, who is a nice lad from a nice family, and by all accounts, his father's a nice man, but his father was his agent, and his father was pushing more for the move than the CDM that West Ham let go to Arsenal. But also, there was a hurry to get it done then, because the year that he moved from West Ham to Arsenal was the last year that a family member could represent you for such a large percentage. And now they've got new guidelines in place so that you can't take 25% signing on or whatever as an agent. So a lot of these now players have agents that are their relations. So it's like you getting Greg to be your agent. So you sign a 10 million signing on fee, and he gets 4 million on top agency fee. Then he gets 25% of your, you know what I mean? So you're making sure everybody's got it, which you would, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah, but why? Listen, if I've got the money, you've got the money. Like, why do you have to make it like this? Listen, if it comes to the point, if I got that sort of dough, right, and it come to, right, I tell you what, I'll buy that house, living there rent free, I'll pay the bills. I'll tell you what, if you need money, there's a credit card. It's got this much limit on it. Just use it. It will automatically get paid off each month. Use what you need to do. Just if you need a car, let me know. I'll get your car. Use this for your bits and bobs. Why do you have to do it in a way where you're making it out like, yeah, he's doing me a job? He ain't doing you a fucking job. Like, just stop acting like it.
Yeah, devil's avocado, though. Who better to look, devil's avocado, who better to look after you than family, though? Like the lad that I didn't name for out of respect, that we know we're talking about. Like, his dad, from what I hear from people that know him, it's a lovely dad. His brothers are really nice. I've met one of his brothers. They're a lovely family. Who better to steer you? Because if I'd have gone down the boxing route further, I would have loved my dad to have been in my corner or help him negotiate deals and whatever. Who's going to have your interest more? You know, someone like a Don King or a Frank Warren or an Eddie Herman, or actually your dad?
Or I'd say, okay, then who would you rather do surgery on you? A professional or your dad?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You're saying they're not equipped for the role.
I'm not saying they're not equipped. I'm just saying that they might. Why not have them as an advisor? They can be looking out for your interests. They don't have to be your agent. If you wanted to go and set up a loan, or we've had the conversation about buying properties. If we were going to buy a property, who would be the first person you speak to? It'd be someone you know who knows finance, someone who knows mortgages, someone who's bought a property. Right, what do I need to do for this? How would I get started? If I want to buy somewhere in England to rent out, where would I start? What sort of areas do I need to look at? What sort of price am I looking at? You'd ask for a professional. You wouldn't go to Abby, how do I buy a house? Go and research for me. I'll give you an hour.
No,
you wouldn't do that.
Yeah. But it's a funny example for me, because I would go to my dad, because my dad made his money as a property developer.
And that's why you say
exactly
that. That's why I said
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's why. But it's all sits for courses, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, I suppose, like we said about Nigel Clough earlier on, I suppose when he was looking to get into management, who better to go to than his dad?
Could understand
that.
So looking up and looking down are two different things. If I'm getting your experience, so if you're looking for your dad, yeah. But I could understand it if your dad used to be an agent. Completely get that. Or if your dad was a professional footballer and he's been through that sort of rigor, I understand that in a way because he has the experience of it. But just because, well, I'm your brother, I'm always looking out for you. Okay, Sam, you can be my agent. Well, come on, let's be serious a little bit. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, no problem. If you want to trust in your brother and you want to help him set a business up, tell you what, put some money into him, let him set up his own agency, let him have clients, put your money in for your retirement. Tell you what, you can set this up. You can manage a couple of clients. You can bring in your own agents who you want to do, who can manage things. You deal with me when I want it, but I want you to oversee 4 or 5 other agents. Why not make it into a proper business like you would in, like if you were a cook, I wouldn't want you just come in and cook. I'll tell you what, be my head chef, run my kitchen, because I trust you to run my kitchen how you want. Why would you just do one thing? Right, you make burgers. That's it. Everyone else, I'll bring someone else in. You make burgers. No, if I trust you, run the fucking kitchen and then run the restaurant. And then I've got something to fall back on later on in life. I know players like Harry Kane that don't technically need it, but why would you not? That's my point of it. I understand looking after family, but you can look after family in other ways rather than like in the seedy underworld of football agents with brown envelopes and stuff. Like that's just crazy. It's crazy.
So come back to your opinion on chairman. Do you think that they're right to be blaming the problems at the top and it going down, like I said, or do you think that it is a separate entity? Like you said about from terms of the player's point of view. What about with who we started with Ange? Is he getting the tools for the job that he needs, or is it his refusal? Or is it his refusal to play another way and shut up shop and be able to defend the lead?
I don't think he's got that in his locker because he's tried to do that in a couple of games and it don't work. I don't think tactically he knows how to be a solid. So I think, you know what, maybe swallow a bit of pride. You know, if I was him, I'd look at going, you know what, let's go and look at Sam Allardyce, see if he wants to come and help and be a defensive coach part-time. Come and help me set up. Sam Allardyce was a master of that. Tony Mowbray, master of that. Dyche is out of work. Do you want to just come and do a bit of part-time to help me defensively set up? You can bring the attacking part out. So why would you not use other people?
Yeah, I always think of the like of George Graham and stuff about sorting out a defence, setting a defence first and having that foundation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, as entertaining as it is to watch 4-3s and 5-2s and stuff like that, it very rarely wins you a lot because teams in the Premiership, the managers are so good, the players are so like clever technically and ability-wise, they can adjust on the fly, they can get you. If you can't adapt, then you have to be high level. The only two teams really you can see, maybe three, that have not adapted how they really play in the Premiership and doing well. You've got Man City, who are struggling at the minute, but maybe that's just age. You've got Arsenal have done well, how they've been playing the last 4 or 5 years. And you've got Liverpool under Klopp. Now a little bit with Slot. I mean, look how different we are just with that little bit of defensive solidarity. No one would have said we're going to be top of the league this year. But we're getting games. Bournemouth game, for example, we didn't look great. The Bournemouth had chances, but defensively, we cut them out to long ranges and half chances for players like Salah to go and get winners. So why would you, and if you've got that, why are you not doing that? Why not defensively set up right? We're going to be rugged and rigid, but I want us to be free flowing going forward. Like, surely you can plan that out. You've got all week to do that. You can't say I'm playing Thursday, Sunday. Guess what, mate? That gives you Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You don't have to train physically to learn. You could set up a plan and do the shadow play where you're just walking in positions from where the ball, switching the play, right, we shift. It's not odd. How are you not doing that?
Goals win your games, defences win your titles.
Stats don't lie. Stats don't lie.
That's the same, isn't it? That's the same.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, what do you think then? Do you think that the boardroom is the problem? Or do you think that if one bad apple spoils the lot? Or do you think it filters down? Or do you think it's a separate entity? Or what do you think?
Do you know where I'm going to go? I'm going to question it to you, right? I'm going to question it in a way, right? If you're to telling me now of the football entity, I mean, in regards to like the commercial side, the results, the structure, the running of the club, any entity, what is the responsibility of the players?
To play on the pitch.
Yeah, to play on the pitch. Okay, what's the responsibility of the manager?
To manage manager or head coach is to manage the tactics and get the best out of the players and get the results.
What's the responsibility of the chairman?
To oversee the running of the club and the business affairs.
Are Spurs one of the best run clubs around? Commercially and money-wise, I'm taking out transfers. I'm about just running of the club.
You'd have to say yes in the way they transition to that stadium and the way they've utilised that stadium for concerts and boxing matches and stuff is something we've not been able to do at the London Stadium as well. So, yeah, I would say they've run it quite well. I'd say they're pretty well run. They were not now, but they had been consistently a top 6 team, hadn't they?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'd been a few years in the Champions League, 4th, managed to come 3rd in a 2-horse race. So they've been there or thereabouts, haven't they?
I'm going to get you a slide dig button. I'm going to make you a slide dig button. So Levy's doing his job. Yeah?
Yeah, but there's a lot of disharmony with him, though. They don't seem to like him. Like, here's what you hear about Levy. He's spiky to deal with. Like, there's one thing driving a hard bargain, but by all accounts, he's a bit of a knob, and he rubs people up the wrong way. I think
but we know loads of successful people like that.
That is a trait of successful people, isn't it?
So maybe that's it then. So maybe he's doing his part. Maybe Ange needs to be a bit more of a prick. Maybe he needs to call some of the players out instead of shielding all the blame. Maybe you should look at Son, who's been woeful this year. They were saying it today on the podcast I listened to. Son's not a captain. That's not a dig at Son because he's a great footballer and he's got ability and he's assumingly he's well liked. He's not a footballer. He's not a captain. Sorry. So look at that Spurs team. Who's a captain? They were talking today on the podcast I listened to. James Maddison. Are you mad? Like they're on about Christian Romero. What, Mr. Hothead? Get a red card for no reason. Like he's like a poor man's Pepe.
That's another question. Then you look at that team. Who is a leader?
That's the thing. What they're missing. What they should be doing. Tell you what they should have done in the transfer window is gone out and bought maybe a midfielder and a centre back. Yeah, hell of a player. Bring him back. Go and get a centre back, an horrible centre back that no one likes playing against. Just a bit of a fucking nuisance, but who knows the line? Maybe 30 years old.
What about Van de Ven?
Van de Ven, great footballer. Don't think he's got that in him yet. No.
The thing is, we spoke about it before with the Boeing thing. To captain, there's not many of those fist-clenching, red-faced Roy Keane style captains anymore.
I think there is.
When you look around,
I think there is. I think they're in different leagues and they're in lower leagues because they don't have the ability. Yeah, I think they don't have the ability to play at that level to shine on their own. But as a unit, I mean, you could look at certain players. I mean, you've got the examples you look at. You got Keane and Gerrard. You look at as Keane, Gerrard, and Scholes. Who's the one I'm thinking about? Vieira, Petit, those sort of players. SCN love to leave a little bit on you. Right, VAR sort of ruined that a little bit with you can't do it, but there's still players in the championship that will absolutely go through you in a challenge 50-50. Why can't you have those players in to do the job? Basuma is the closest thing that Spurs have to me of the leaders in their squad. Basuma's the one that I think, you know what, you could be. You ain't now, but you could be a leader in that team. Why did you get rid of Højbjerg? Højbjerg is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. He is a nasty little fucker. He's like a now version of Gravison. Love Gravison, by the way. Leave a bit on. Don't mind getting a bit of a niggle in people. As a man like Beanie said, a little bit of needle. Why not? Get in the opponent's head. Make them look on the shoulder. Fucking hell, where is it? Well, fucking hell, where is it? Fucking hell, snapped me last time. That's what Spurs players look like. They're doing. Oh, I don't want to get it. Oh, we've already got so many injuries. I don't want to get hurt again. Might miss them. But if you're injured for Spurs, why the fuck are you rushing back? Like, come on, go and get players. What you want to do? If you're not going to work hard on the other team, you've got to be better. And if you're going to be better, you've got to be well better. What's the saying? Hard work wins when talent fails to work hard.
Yeah, exactly. You know what you said there about maybe Ange needs to be a bit nastier? I've noticed that in his press conferences, though. He seems to be being a prick to the press, though, doesn't he? He looks frustrated. He's being
the wrong people to be a prick to.
Yeah.
The thing is, you've got to choose your battles. These are the people that are going to write articles which influence fans. Why are you being a prick to them? Call these players out, but then there's also the story of can he call them out because these are the players that were queuing up 5 days before a League Cup final or when Spurs are known as trophyless and not being able to do anything, queuing up, 3 of them apparently, queuing up outside Daniel Levy's office saying, I'm not going to play for Mourinho. Mate, you're in a fucking final. What is wrong with you? How dare you sit there and go, I'm not going to play for him to get him sacked? He's got you the best chance of winning the trophy in your history of playing for that club. And you're going to do that? Yeah. Weak-minded, my opinion.
And do you know what else they did? Levy did. Sacked him before he could win a trophy and get his bonus clause.
Savage. But
right, listen. Go on. What were you going to say?
I was just going to bring him back up.
I don't want to do. Right. I've got a hard one. I'll rephrase that.
I was going to
That's a
say,
nice little 30-minute episode. I've got a difficult one for you today. Got a
Talk to me.
difficult who am I? Going to test your knowledge, right? So I'm not going to allow any questions. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 facts. And like you did on one we've got coming out with Greg, the Newcastle fan, 1 to 11. Look out for that this week. Quicker
What
you
a
get
game
it, the
that
more
was.
points you get. Hey?
What a game that was. Oh.
Mate, so I've got one of them for you, right? So this is going to be a bit tougher. I'm going to give you some clues. Who am I? And then the quicker you get it, the more points you get, right? First clue. I was known for my flicks and tricks, and I was likened to JJ Okocha.
I don't interrupt.
No.
Cool. Next one.
Clue number 2. I made my name bizarrely playing for Sligo Rovers in Ireland.
Damien Duff.
No. Third clue.
Oh.
I played at a World Cup for Cameroon.
Played at a World Cup for Cameroon and played for Sligo boy.
Yeah.
The Sligo boy. Ooh.
It's a good, isn't it? It's bizarre.
Played for Cameroon at the World Cup. What World Cup?
Can't tell you.
Oh, okay. I played for the Sligo boy.
Told you we're going extra hard this week. Stop you smashing the questions. Flicks and tricks, like a JJ Okocha. Cameroonian, played for Cameroon in the World Cup. Made his name in Ireland, Sligo Rovers.
Made his name in Ireland and played for Cameroon.
Yeah.
It's a toughie, that. Because
It is a toughie.
It's a rare mix.
It is a toughie. Yeah. I'll give you a cryptic clue as well if you want.
Go on.
You could always rely on him to do the business.
You could always rely on him to do the bee's knees. Trying to think of a Cameroonian who played in Ireland, and if he's made his name there. I know there's been some well-travelled Cameroonians, but I don't know any that's played for the Sligo boy.
Who you could rely on to do the business.
Right. Joseph Desiree Job.
I thought you were going to get it then, but no.
Go on, last one.
Trying to think of another clue that'd be easy for you. Shall I give you the initials?
Will that help me?
I think so. Yeah, I think if you, maybe it's not a player you've come across.
Maybe. Let's try it. Go on, try the initials.
Well, I'll tell you first of all. You said no. You started saying a name then, and I thought you'd got it. So the initials are J.N.
J.N.
I did say this week's one's hard, and it might even be a bit unfair if he's obscure. But if you know, you know. And
it's one of those.
Yeah.
I'd probably had him on Footy Man or something like that. He's probably been a wonder kid.
That's why I thought. I was thinking about him earlier.
He played for Sligo. Loved the flick.
Yep.
Initials were JN.
Yep. Cameroonian. Played for Cameroon in the World Cup. Was likened to JJ Okocha.
No, don't ring any bells.
Right. Do you remember Joseph and Do?
No.
Oh, right. Well, then you've got to go and look him up. Right. After this, just put in Google Joseph. When you said Joseph, I was like, you've got it. Joseph N apostrophe Dion. That's why the cryptic clue was you could rely on him to do the business.
Joseph and Do. I'll have to have a look. I'll have to have a look at his YouTube page and see what it's about.
Just have a look, right? And then come and talk to me about him, and we'll do an episode next. Right? Any other business before we finish this quick one?
No, I'm all good. Unless you want to. Who am I?
Yeah, go on in.
Right. Okay. I'll give you 4 clues. It's off the top of my head. This has not been researched. played in the Premiership and
So
was the
before
first.
2016, then, when it was still the Premiership.
Yep, played in the Premiership and was the first player from his country to play in the Premiership.
At the first clue.
Yep.
Right, go on. Next one.
He played as a striker / left mid and played for Coventry City.
Is the N apostrophe a link
There
here?
is an apostrophe.
Is it Peter Unlove?
Peter Unlove, man. You have to say it like a Geordie for some reason. Peter Unlove.
Is that what it was?
Peter Unlove, what a player. What a player.
Is that
Love the
is
dribble.
that what it was?
Yeah, it was
Is that what
Peter
it was?
Unlove. Zimbabwean
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Great
got
player.
it after
Great
two.
player.
That
There
was
we go.
subliminal messaging because we've done Joseph Undu. That's made you think of Peter Unlove.
Yeah, it was.
Love it.
Peter Unlove. Oh,
There you go.
'cause initially I thought Peter Unlove, but he could have come from Sligo, but he definitely Zimbabwean.
Yeah. Right, listen, it's been another good one. Let us know in the comments below. Look, we're needing these subscribers to go up. We're needing more comments and likes and subscribes and whatever, so that when we go live, click the notification bell. We don't always say that, but we're trying to build this up, and it is really fun doing this, but really fucking slow. Really slow progress. Really
I'll
slow.
tell you what would help as you go through it. What a couple of people have been doing as they're listening to it, comment as you go through because it pops up on the time for us. Yeah,
Greg,
so we can
Greg's
see
brilliant for that.
what he's talking about. Yeah, Greg's really good for that. So we can see what he's talking about and we can bring it back up.
100%. Brilliant. Right. Nice one, folks. Thank you for joining us. Let's go down to the outro music. And until next time on
Opinions from all sides.
Opinions from all sides, mate. They've been playing these players Thursday, Sunday. It's enough to make a grown man cry. I'm going to go and put another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
God bloody Strauss.
Keep balling. Keep balling.